Moving cities will change your life, but it won't change you. I recently made the move from the East Coast to Chicago, and I basically did it alone. I had no family here, and I have one friend from high school that I don't really see that often. So I basically moved halfway across the country by myself. So then naturally, when I talk to people over the past few months since I've moved here, we naturally start to talk about the concept of moving across the country alone or halfway across the country alone. And I hear quite a few stories about people who move and the city just chews them up and spits them back out, whether it's New York or LA or Miami or somewhere like Chicago or Houston, wherever it may be. They're socially isolated. They expect that their business is going to take off just because they change locations, or they expect that their career is going to change for the better, or that dating is going to be easier because they're in a larger dating pool. But that's just not always the case. There's this common mindset among especially young adults that are like Gen Z and millennial that when you get to a certain point in your life, you'll be happy then. So when I build my business to a certain level, I'll be happy when I get there. When I'm financially independent, when I finally get married and have kids. And one of those milestones for people is when I move or when I can quit my job and backpack across Europe for a year. Now, as someone who moved to Chicago for concrete reasons, my life has objectively gotten better and I have zero regrets over making the move. However, I've had a lot of conversations with people that live here and people that have friends and family that have moved across the country, maybe even across the world. And in a lot of those stories, yeah, it's a success story and it's great. But there are some stories I've heard where people have expected their quality of life to just automatically change because they change locations. And that's just not the case. There's a common saying in especially the self help and personal development world that wherever you go, there you are. So if you don't necessarily have the social skills or you're just not quite there in your social skills journey to where you go up to random strangers and start conversations with them and you make new friends easily, you may find that moving to a major city actually makes that harder for you. Actually, you probably will find that it's harder for you to make friends in a major city if, that's who you are right now. Maybe you want your career to take off in some way and you're expecting that just plopping yourself in New York City or LA is just automatically going to make your career just take off because you're in a certain environment. And although there is some truth to that, you do put yourself in the line of more opportunities and just access to more resources and a more expansive network, especially in certain fields. That is objectively true, yes. But you got to put yourself out there. You have to have the attention span and a sustained focus to master your craft and sit down and actually put in the work. There are factors outside of you simply just plopping yourself into an environment that contribute to having that social success or that success in relationships or maybe in your career and your business taking off. But one thing to keep in mind before you make the move is that no matter where you go, there you are. And that's just something I had to share from my personal experience. Even though my quality of life has gotten better and I'm very happy, I still wake up and I'm still the same person I was back home. I'm just in a different environment and I have a lot more to do. But you still bring who you are to your new location.